Da, ba, ba, ba. Da, 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 da. Hello! It's I, Pabs, your changeling of the hour. Yes, we're back to HiveSwap Friendsim. We're going to befriend more trolls on our way through the month. We are going to go through like volume 3 and 4, hopefully, in time. So I'm very excited. I'm very excited. Even though I had so much emotional turmoil at the end of last stream. But that's fine, that's fine, it's fine. We don't have to worry about that. Today is a happy day. Today we are back to befriending people. It's great. It's great. It's great. Anyways, who's excited? I am. I am. Oh, if you're still curious on why I'm still a cardboard box, well, I did say it's like in a shifting period of changing is rating with a party of 3. Oh, hey! Hey guys! It's Spirit Corsal. Welcome, welcome! Thanks, Kurt the Dragon Boy. Thanks for following. This is such great. This is a good day. It's a good time to start a stream. Raiders and everything and all those things. Ah, yes, today. So yeah, like I said before, in a shifting period. Let's see. I said like in a tweet before, like a while ago, like if I'm going like change a VTuber or anything like that, eating my dinner now. That's so great. It's great. Where was I? Right. If I'm going to like change like a new VTuber model, I'll be the transitional period. I would use this cardboard box with a wig and drawing on it in the between time. So this will be the boxes temporarily. So for now, it's going to be like a waiting period till you see like a new Pabs made by a different artist. Who knows? It'll be interesting. There will be, hopefully there will be more emotional states, so just be more expressive nowadays. Anyways, let's get started on volume 3. No, that's sorry, wrong one. Yeah, planes. Okay, volume 3. Volume 3 of Ladies Grey and Luzai White. Finally, we're gonna meet the first of the Jade family soon. I can't wait for it. Putting one foot in front of the other, you continue on through this strange alien world. Just when you think of stuff is beginning to make sense, it all slips through your fingers and become even stranger and more alien. There does, however, seem to be one thing that remains constant through all planets and walking life. That thing is friendship. You're on the prowl for more. It would have perhaps been wise to stay with one of your wonderful new friends until you are fully healed. But, as Martha Stewart said, visitors like fish begin to smell after 3 days. You are almost positive Martha Stewart said that. I don't know, I don't think I've seen Martha Stewart. Nevertheless, you soldier on in your endless quest for companionship. Who the fuck is Martha Stewart? Where will you travels take you next? Okay, the mom, the friend group mom, or country gal? Eeny, miny, money, mo. Catch the tiger by the toe. If he hollers, let him go. Well, we'll start with Branya. Let's go, Virgos. Let's go, Virgo. I see Homestuck. Yes, HiveSwap specifically. Let's go, Branya. You've been traveling through a cave network for a while. The rigid stone is a welcome respite from the eerily organic infrastructure you've been encountering, but it's also providing an unwelcome respite from friend making. Maybe it was too much to hope for. That is, Cavern would be home to another potential new buddy. Maybe leaving the big city behind was a horrible mistake. Just maybe, these dark, cold tunnels are completely devoid of. Oh, hang on, there's a bunch of buildings in the distance. Okay, I gotta figure out how to do Bronny's voice. Like I said in the past, when I first played this game, I just did the voices in my head, pretty much. That fits, my best fits around the personality. Speaking it out loud is gonna be, I hope I do it justice. Okay, ready? Here we go. Oh, hello. I thought you were one of my girls. But you don't look like a Jade Blood, or anything else. Actually, how strange. You convey your usual spiel regarding your circumstances. You are lost and lonely, and your ribs are still broken, you think. Honestly, the ribs are fine. You could just use another friend or two. I see. My first responsibility is to my Jades and the Mother Grub. So I can't make any promises of friendship just yet. But you do look like you need someone to take care of you. Here in the Brooding Caverns, we follow a few simple rules. 1. Don't invite drama from up top down below. 2. Protect the Mother Grub. 3. We have no hierarchy, but do what I say. The mom of the friend group. Everyone, Bronya. Let's do everything we can to keep up our current record of dozens of sweeps without any Jades being called. You're not sure what half of those words mean, but you nod in your head. Good. I'll take you to our hive. Follow me. I don't know why I'm pronouncing the V's, but I just find it funny. You follow her into her hive, which looks like a school or some kind of dormitory, with multiple rooms and multiple floors. Usually, more of my jades are around. I suppose that everyone is out watching the Imperial drones arrive with the filial pails. Girls, we have a visitor to our caverns. 1. Do not be alarmed by their bizarre appearance. They seem to be harmless and quite weak. 2. Do not give them more injuries than they already have. Our visitors deserves a warm Jade Blood welcome. She claps her hands. No one else is around, but you stand to attention and give her the thumbs up to show that you've read her aloud and clear. Notice that she called you visitor and not friend. But that's okay. You can do whatever it takes until you're upgraded from visitor to friend, or at least charity case. You follow her upstairs and she stops at big room on the 2nd floor. When you step into, you have to clap your hand over your mouth to keep from gagging at the revolting sight. Oh, look, the little baby grubs! Look at them! Little swimming around. There are big, baby-sized larvae-looking things all over the floor, squirming around and crying and inchworming out of the kiddie pools of green slime. What the hell? This is our nursery. Most of these regulars are sick or injured, so we look after them in here until they're all well enough to go back to the caverns and spin their cocoons. She looks shifty all of a sudden, giving you some side-eye like she's sizing you up. Try to look very non-threatening and also 100% trustworthy. We keep this nursery on the down low. It's not against any laws, but it's something of a break with tradition to save any of the grubs, instead of just letting them die. To tell you the truth, I'm not sure why we do it. I guess it just feels right to me to take care of them. The same way I take care of my jades. A nursery, huh? Look around again with this new information. I guess you can sort of see how the wrigglers look like babies. You can't believe that one of these things could grow up into anything that looks like a Bronya, but this is an alien planet, so who knows? I don't know why, but my head like pictures. When I ever think about the grubs, I think of the SpongeBob episode with Mr. Wormsley. You know, when SpongeBob finds this really gross dog worm thing, and it has babies, and the babies are really gross, and they just spit goo at people. I mean, they're so gross, they're adorable. I bet it's like the same with these troll grubs. She takes you over to a shelf that seems to hold medical supplies. You're not sure what can be done for your broken ribs, but maybe she has some kind of alien technology that can help. Maybe. But when she starts going through the cabinet, you don't see anything that looks high-tech like the thing that fixed your arm. I guess that's most of what we have in stuff for the wigglers, and I'm not familiar enough with your bizarre anatomy to know if it will help. But if you're not completely sure how to do something, it's best to try anyway. 1. Even if you fail, everyone else can still learn from your mistake. 2. Maybe you won't fail. You never know. You're not sure about applying this ethos to your broken ribs, but she looks so determined, it might be rude to say no. You're not sure about applying this ethos to your broken ribs, but she looks so determined, it might be rude to say no. Save! I'll just put you there. Okay. Close menu. Thanks, but no thanks. I'll just heal on my own. Just go for it. My ribs are already broken, so where's the harm? You're not sure about applying this thing close to. Go for it. Go for it. My ribs are already broken, so where's the harm? Okay, come here. Lift up your shirt so I can get to your injured bellow sack enclosure. Yes, like that. Turn the part that's all bloody and horrifying towards me. She has something that looks like some kind of ointment. It's a shade of bright green, similar to the slime beds you see around the nursery. It also seems to be glowing. Seems like there's nothing wrong about applying it to your skin. But despite your optimism, the second Bronya rubs some of it on your broken skin, you feel a searing hot pain like you just got doused with poison. You flinch back instinctively. Your momentum carries you too far. As you step back, you trip on something behind your feet. You cartwheel your arms, but it's no use. You're going down. You're yelling timber. Oh no. You feel something soft and squishy break your fall, and you hear a terrible squelching noise, and some kind of animal squeal. You have fallen right onto one of the wigglers. You roll off of it, but there's no use. It's squished flat, and you've covered in all fluid that you think might be its blood. You look up to see Bronya's horrified face, and know that there's no hope for friendship in those vengeful eyes. You might want to run before I throw you out this window and break the rest of your bones. Alturia's deadliest ass. Oh no, this frowny face. Oh well, okay. Thanks, but no thanks. I'll just heal my own just fine. I don't want to kill anyone with this deadly ass of mine. Oh, well, if you're sure, I'm worried about you though. You seem like you need help, and I wish I could help you more. If I can't take care of someone, I'm not sure how we can ever truly be friends. You try to cheer her up, pointing out that friendship is a two-way street, after all. She doesn't have to concern herself with your mutilated frame. How can you help her instead? Well, Sure, there are things around that I could use some assistance with. However, don't take this the wrong way, but we've only just met. I don't know what I can trust you to be as responsible as I am. It's not easy to be the one in charge. You have to be, 1. Conspicuous, 2. Considerate, and 3. Competent at all times. You try to think of times in your life when you've been conscious, considerate, or competent. Drawing a bit of a blank, but hey, new planet, new you. You assure her that you have what it takes. I guess if you want to prove that you can be responsible, I can't let you help me out today. Let's good time to visit time to the mother grub. You're careful to step around all the little guys on the floor as you head out the nursery. Just the little guys. They're all little guys. It takes you back inside, and these not civilians. These caverns are even bigger than you first realized. They're also dark and cold and gloomy. You can't see anywhere that might lead up to the planet's surface. I can't see shit. Do we have flashlights? Does she really just live down here all the time? To make some conversation during this cold hike in a damn cave? You mentioned that living underground like this seems kind of depressing. Realized too late that this wasn't very tactful, but she doesn't get anger at your conventional gambit of insulting her home. Oh no, it's very peaceful down here. Well, in comparison to anywhere else. I mean, that's fair, there's flying drones that kill you, so... I mean, it's better to be underground than on the surface, to be honest. I quite enjoy it. The brooding caverns are a place for life and birth, not death. That's pretty uncommon on Alternia. You're still not sure what she means by brooding caverns, but you guess it has something to do with the wrigglers in her nursery. Before you can ask, you reach the top of a ridge and get a new, wider view of the rest of this cavern. It's enormous, probably the size of a small city. All over the cave floor, you see more wrigglers crawling everywhere. Cocoons climb the cave walls, and larger stalactites, which some young trolls crawling out of them. Walking, flying, and crawling among the wrigglers and young trolls are a variety of white monsters of all kinds and shapes and sizes. In the center of the cavern, there is... you don't even know how to describe it. It looks like a huge, many-legged queen bug of some kind with a great goat-shaped skull and horns coming out of her head. Her bulbous sphincter ripples as she lays a continuous stream of hundreds of eggs, from which you assume the gray wrigglers will hatch. You know, I always thought about, like, just probably some genetic things, but okay, so this means if the trolls come from the mother, does this mean like every troll technically comes from this being? That means they're all sort of related? Maybe it's like a bee thing where genetics isn't really much of an issue. I'm not gonna question too much about it. And marching through all this, you see several hulking bipedal creatures, each carrying 2 buckets either to or away from the mother grub. They look armed, and they move like regimented troops, soldiers of some kind. You're instinctively terrified of them. This is where the magic happens, and by that I mean continuation of our species. Jade bloods like myself are entrusted with looking after this process, which is of course a very special job. The Imperial drones carry filial pails of genetic material to the mother grub for her slurry. She lays eggs that hatch new grub broods. After the wigglers emerge from their cocoons, the new trolls will go through the trials, and the ones that make it will be selected by Eluces to help care for them. 4. Together, the young trolls and their Luci go up to the surface together, where the trolls will grow up, or get cold, or whatever. As Rania explains the troll reproduction to you, one of the Imperial drones veers sharply to the left, and in the process tramples over a few wrigglers and young trolls. The drone continues on, but several of the Luci cry out, crowding around their dead or injured charges. Is that bison? Buffalo. Is that buffalo? Bison? One of them, a gigantic beast that resembles a bison, bellows. Oh, it was a bison. Bellows and rears up to its head legs, hitting one of the other Luci with its front hoof. Oh jeez, not again. This kind of damage control is a lot of what we have to deal with whenever a Lucis goes rogue out of grief or confusion. There's the potential for it to lash out at the other Luci, the Wigglers, or the Mother Grub herself. We Jade Bloods cannot let that happen. She looks so concerned in marked contrast to how confident she seemed before now. You offered to help her out earlier, and it seems like now's your chances for someone else to stop that rogue Lucis, and that someone could be you. Okay. Fight the monster, save the day, you got this. Be a weenie. Yeah, buddy, you gotta go there. Weenie Hut Juniors! No, not that place. I mean the one right next to it. Super Weenie Hut Juniors! You definitely do not like the idea of wadding into a monster fight, not even to say the progenitor of your new friend's species. In fact, you don't like that Branya is so focused on protecting all these helpless toddlers and distressed animals instead of taking care of you. You stammer out that you don't think you can take on any kind of monster right now. In fact, you just felt another stab of pain in your ribs. You might be blacking out. Branya, concerned face, turns in your direction as you start to swoon. She catches you before you hit the ground, and your heart flutters. You look up at her serious face, and she looks like such a mom, but also such a friend. Like some sort of combination of these two concepts. Yikes, you don't look so good. I can't leave you alone. Not when you're in such a bad shape. Maybe I could carry you on my back while I try to stop the rampaging Lucis. Your heart flutters, turn to pinpricks of alarm that sounds dangerous, mainly for you. You try to think of what you could say to dissuade her. Something other than, I think you should ignore the helpless babies and mother in danger behind you in favor of continuing to hold me in your strong arms. That's fair. That's fair. Fair mindset. But before you can speak, you hear a commotion behind her. She turns and looks over her shoulder, and her face sags with relief. Yes, the other Jades are here. They should know what to do. We've taken care of crises like this before, of course. Usually, I'm there to help. If you crane your neck, you can just glimpse a crowd of trolls corralling a rogue Lucis away from the Mother Grub, while other trolls calm the remaining Luci and swoop up any wrigglers in the harm's way. It looks like I needn't have worried. They're more than capable of stepping in a while. I'm otherwise occupied. I'm so proud. You take this opportunity to compliment her on what a good leader she must be, to have trained the others so well. Super smooth. She beams at you, and sets you down carefully on the cavern floor, kneeling at your side. This could have gone quite badly. Glad I didn't make the wrong choice when I stayed to help you instead of rushing off. It just goes to show, sometimes the best thing you can do for the group is take care of the weakest person in it. You kind of want to object to being called the weakest person, but you did just fake a fainting spell for attention. So maybe not now isn't the best time. Instead, you thank her sincerely for sticking by your side. The two of you watch together as orders as gradually restored to the chaos below. And even with your injuries, you feel close to the content and quite hopeful about how this relationship is progressing. You notice that at your side, several wrigglers are blindly squirming around and confused and crying. There are some young trolls here too, looking around all lost and bereft. You're not sure if their Luci ran off with the others that got involved in the phrases, or if these little guys are orphans now. Now that you're seeing them out in the natural cavern light, the wrigglers look less like maggots to you. In fact, they're even kind of cute. You can see why Brian would want to take care of them. One of the smallest wrigglers closest to you has somehow flipped himself over onto his back and seems unable to right himself. His little legs waving in the air while he cries. Trying to be careful with your ribs, you reach out to scoop him up and cradle him to your chest, rocking him back and forth until his cries quiet down. Wow, you have a very strong nurturing instinct. I think he likes you. You almost look like you could be his Lucis, or a jade blood. You're pleased that she approves of you taking your caretaking display. The wriggler's cough breaks through your haze of smug satisfaction. And when you look down, you realize that he seems to be having some trouble breathing. Point this out to Bronya. Good observation. You really are natural at taking care of other creatures, aren't you? Some people find that nurturing ability to be very attractive in a potential friend. But as for the Wiggler, this is definitely not a good sign. I'm surprised none of these drones have noticed that he's sick. If we leave him here, he'll be cold for sure. Bronya takes the Wiggler from you, and you're more than happy to hand him over, considering that you have no idea what to do with a sick baby that's not your species, let alone sick baby that is your species. Also, your broken ribs make holding a baby kind of painful, and Bronya holds the Wiggler carefully, but with perfect ease, just like you hope. She'll create your new friendship in its infancy. Once Bronya feels assured that her jades have the situation at the Brooding Caverns under control, you both take the Wiggler back to the Jade Blood Nursery. You hover around uselessly while Bronya sets up some kind of crib filled with green slimes. You're a little concerned when she takes the Wiggler and submerges him under the slime, drowning style. Because, like, he was already having trouble breathing, surely drowning in slime won't help. The soaper should help straighten his bell sacks and soothe his sorrow shoot. When he gets healthy again, I'll take him back to cavern and set him free to make his cocoon and pupate. But he's so small. It's unlikely that he'll survive the trials or be selected by his Lucis. You hate to see Bronya looking sad. You try to be sympathetic, mentioning your astute observation that this whole system setup with Wigglers and the trials and the culling seems pretty brutal. What? Oh no, I would never suggest. This is just the way the world works. And it's fine, it's fine. The trials are how young trolls prove that they're strong enough to survive. It's only right for the weak to be cold. It's the purpose of Jade Bloods to ensure the continuation of our species, and consequently, the hemospectrum. 1, we are not revolutionaries. 2, we're meant to do our jobs and keep our hands down and keep things running smoothly. 3, I would never presume to question the basics tenets of Alternian society. That would bring negative attention from the High Bloods, and I just want to keep my jade safe. You look around at the nursery and all these injured or underdeveloped Wigglers that Bronya was apparently supposed to let die. You think it might not be true that she doesn't question the way her world works. She's looking at you like she's scared you'll call her on it and expose her altruistic tendencies. You try to salvage this conversation thread. Did you say that calling riggers sounded brutal? It meant neutral. Yes, you feel 100% neutral on this topic, neither committed to the culling side of things, nor eager to take up arms in revolution. Oh, yes! Neutral is how I feel about it as well. What a good word to describe exactly how I feel about all controversial political subjects. Did I mention that keeping this nursery isn't technically illegal? Because it isn't. Technically. There is no reason for any of Triza's drones to come investigate our hive. And if any drones do come knocking, we have nothing to hide. No borderline revolutionary ideas will be tolerated within these walls. Bronya laughs nervously. Ha ha! Ha 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 ha! Just looking around to see if there's any cameras. And looks around the room like she's making sure that any Imperial drones hiding in here heard her announcement. I feel bad for how nervous she is. You didn't mean to freak her out. You tell her that she sounds super convincing, and why shouldn't she? Because she's clearly telling the truth. If you were an Imperial drone, you would definitely be satisfied right now with her clearly law-abiding and neutral ways. Thank you. That means a lot. You cast about for something to change the subject, and mention that your ribs are feeling a bit bitter. Bronya's face brightens, and she lifts up your arm gently so she can touch the injured part of your torso, examining it in her typical responsible and authoritative way. You shiver and wonder if her touch has healing properties. I'm glad to hear that. After all, I don't like it when my friends suffer. Your heart leaps. You look up, scarcely allowing yourself to hope. Could it be? Or was she just making a general statement? If you're not in any more pain, hopefully that means your injuries will heal soon. I'll take care of you until then, my friend. You are overcome. Your eyes fill with tears. Bronya smiles at you and squeezes your hands. Victory! Self-care comes first. Look at all the little babies. Look at all the little babies. Little babies. We love little babies. Yeah, let me move him. Look at the little babies. Yes, this is great. Perfect. My head is great putting heads over other people. This is great. Perfect. This is perfect use for this. Perfect use for this being. Anyways. Let's see the bad option. Fight the monster. Save the day. You got this. The Bison Lucis seems to be causing quite a ruckus. Other Luci have now gotten riled up too, with some of them trying to gather Wrigglers to keep them out of the harm's way, and others just getting hyped to thrash. It seems like it could turn into a monster stampede, and they're close to the mother grub's big, soft, vulnerable abdomen. Not great. Fighting a monster single-handedly seems like a daunting first step in friendship, but you did tell her you could be responsible. You square your shoulders and tell Bronya that she has nothing to worry about. You're going to stop that Lucis, calm down all the other Luci, and protect the mother grub. All without breaking a sweat, and hopefully without breaking any more bones either. Well there, I was going to suggest that I go after it while you stay here. You seem kind of weak and fragile, even apart from your injuries, I mean. I don't want you to get hurt worse, and I'm not sure I trust any other than myself. Take the lead on this. That wasn't quite the reaction you were hoping, for normally you would be able to about sitting back and letting her protect you, because, well, protective and responsible is a good look on her. But desperate times call for desperate measures, and you don't know how else you're going to prove yourself worthy to be her friend. You do your best to a project on an air of confidence, or at least competence. You're sure that this is in no sweat for you. You take down the raging bison back to your home planet. All the time. You're known for it, actually. Well, if you say that this isn't your first undulating roping gallop exhibition, I believe you. I'll hang back to let you give it a shot. But if it gets too overwhelming in there, I'm right here. Caring for a mother grub is my responsibility as a jade blood. 2. I'd never abandon a friend to deal with a mess on their own. If we end up being friends, that is. Oh, hell yes. Now you have a reason to hope. You approach the rampaging bison with a caution. Do all bisons have horns like this? Maybe they do. You're no bison expert, but you're pretty sure they don't all have teeth that nasty. Like, what the fuck? Bison on Earth mostly eat grass, don't they? This guy doesn't look like a herbivore. At first, you try to calm the Lucite down by talking to it, but your soothing words have no effect. In fact, might have just made it even angrier. by suggesting that it pause and take some deep breaths in reaction to its treble charge. You're not even sure it can understand human speech. Come to think of it. You circle around it, wishing that you had some kind of lasso or something. Maybe you can herd it away from the mother grub? You look around to see if any of these other lucite look vaguely like Earth's shepherd dogs, but no dice. You hesitate to look too long, and Lucis turns away to fierce eyes falling on the mother grub. It stamps its hooves, snorts air out of its nostrils, and screams in a way that sounds a lot more hellish than you imagine normal bison are capable of. It's obviously about to charge, and you can only think of one thing to do. In desperation, you leap forward and tackle it. Football style, doing everything you can with your flimsy human body to drag it onto its side. And half works, you plow into the Lucis and stop it in its tracks. But it topples over onto a nest of wigglers, taking you down with it. Oh no. The wigglers and young trolls go bouncing everywhere, squealing in distress, and their lucite descend upon you in a rage. Everything is in chaos for a while. You're trapped beneath the bison Lucis, which is very worrying for all your body parts, and you think you might feel something important rupturing inside you. But hey, on the bright side, this crushing mass is protecting you from all the other pissed off lucite trying to attack you. Just as your whole breathing situation is starting to get dicey, you hear a commotion and what sounds possibly the trouncing of some of the smaller lucite that were trying to get to you. The crowd of beasts around you scatters, and then you hear her. Oh, I'm having a hard time getting this thing off of you. He's still very angry. He keeps trying to kick me. Where's a bronze blood when you need one? You don't know what that means, but you're very grateful that she's here to help you. You try to communicate this, but it comes out garbled from all the blood in your mouth. Maybe don't try to speak, or move, or help? You experience a sinking feeling that could be related to the diminishing odds of impressing Bronya and becoming her friend. Or it could be the compression of all your internal organs being bursting and crushed underneath the mere weight of that giant bison. Either way, it's tough to feel optimistic right now. But before you can give into a complete despair, hear other voices. Your view is blocked by the mass of bison flesh on top of you, but could it be? Are these other people here to save you? Oh. Finally! I was wondering where you all had gone off to. Let's all work together, girls. You two grab his horns to keep the head still and keep it from biting anyone. The rest of you, come around with me to its backside so we can push it without getting kicked. You hear some grunting and muttering, and the bison starts making noises that sound more confused and less furious. The pressure and pain on your chest briefly spike in intensity as the thing's weight shifts, and then they must succeed in dragging it off you because suddenly you can breathe again. But the crisis is not yet over. While you're still testing the use of your lungs and blinking at the cavern ceiling, you hear a very cacophony of enraged monster noises. Uh-oh. The other lucite are still agitated. Get down there and try to calm them down. Protect the mother grub. Try to lift yourself to see what's going on, but putting any weight on your arms make you feel like maybe all your bones got turned into confetti. Painful, painful confetti. You feel strong hands propping you up and gently, and now your head is in Bronya's lap. Try to focus on how this is a nice place for your head and to be a lesson in pain. This is not good. I don't know if the Jades can reach the stampede in time, and the mother grub could get injured. Not to mention all these regulars in danger. No. You didn't think this situation could get any worse, but now you see that several of the Imperial drones that had been about to leave the cavern are turning back, drawn by all the noise and the chaos. But maybe this could be a good thing. Maybe they can instill some order. Fuck! They're going to kill everyone! She scrambles to her feet, in the process letting her head whack down on the cave floor. Your vision swims, but you can still make out the drones firing indiscriminately at the lucite, and the grubs, and the rigors, at the J-bloods. One laser beam skims the side of the mother grub's massive midsection, and her scream is so loud that the ceiling shakes, and the few stalactites shake the loose fallings, and drones and lucite and the regulars alike. It's a total catastrophe. A whole rainbow's worth of trolls. Regular enlisted blood splattering the cavern walls. Branya seems paralyzed by the chaos. Looking from her jades to the mother grub to the imperial wrigglers like she's not sure who to help first. I can't believe it. This is the worst disaster we've ever had down here. And all because I thought I could sit back and let someone else be responsible for once. If I were a less secure person, I could let this moment plant a seed of self-doubt in my mind about my ability to care for others and do my job well. Or I could chalk it up to you being really fucking stupid. You shrink under the weight of her glare. She's green in the face from how angry she is. You swallow and manage to spit out enough blood to ask a question that you already know is hopeless. Does this mean you can't be friends? Are you serious right now? I do not make friends with anyone who recklessly endangers the trolls and wigglers under my care. Oh no! You killed them all. Everyone is dead. Anyways, time for a new character. I got my boots. I got my hat. I'm bring cut back. It's time for Skilla Koriga, the country gal. As dawn approaches, you find yourself heading out of the big city and into the rustic outskirts. Here we go. Man, the sun sure is bright on this planet. It's rising over the crest of the distant hills. A huge fiery ball. The later it gets, the bigger and bigger it grows. Way bigger than you've ever seen the sun on Earth. What's that smell? Could be your flesh beginning to sizzle? Fantastic! You love the country. No wonder the nightlife seems so active on Alternia. They are all nocturnal to avoid brutal daily roasting. You reach into your pockets for your cool new shades, but you appear to have left them at your friend's house. Fuck. You gotta get yourself together. The recent physical trauma and extensive blood loss has you a little fuzzy. We're built for this wild wilderness survival shit. You're starting to wish you'd just stolen a fucking Lamborghini or something instead of a spaceship. This seriously isn't looking good. The city is too far now for you to turn back, so you have no choice but to keep walking. Maybe you find a cave or a hole in the ground. Maybe you could just cover yourself with grass. You wish that someone had mentioned the death sun in between offering you alien meat products and calling you their muse. Off to your left in the distance, you catch sight of what might be the shimmer of sunlight on the glass of window, a solar panel. You could seriously clean up with renewable energy on this planet. Should you change your trajectory and go towards the shimmer? It might just be a mirage. Let me just save this. Also, I don't know why I'm trying to talk put on a southern accent, but it's the listen to this damn music. You cannot not put on a southern accent with this music going on. Forget it. Die. Honestly, you could probably see this is one coming. Game over. Got air fried. Anyways, back to our scheduled program. We go toward the shimmer. You turn your aching, stinging meat sack toward the distant, promising sparkle of safety and succor. You focus on just staying upright one step at a time. Just keep swimming or whatever. God, this sun, though. You need SPF 5 million for this nonsense. But then, almost like it has picked itself up to come scuttling to meet you, you suddenly find yourself in front of a long, low structure. You let out a yell of anguish, pounding on the door. At least you hope it's the door. What in the world? The door opens and you fall inside with one of the most pathetic whimpers of your career. Blessed darkness closing on you. From right beside you comes a snuffling yip, like some joker is making fun of your dire situation. Something warm and wet glides up in your stinging cheek. Hold on, lady. Hold on. Lady! Give him some room! A pair of hands help you sit up gently. Your eyes have just enough to make out more than a couple of shapes, one upright and one lower to the ground. What were you doing out there? Can you stand? Strong arms pull you to your feet. You wonder if everyone on this planet is strong, or if you are just extremely flimsy. They guide you to the chair at the end of a long table. Suddenly, you begin to explain yourself that you are an injured, exhausted traveler who is ravenous for pals. Well, bless your heart. But hold on a tick. Dinner's about to burn. Now that your riskier mentions it, you do smell something. It smells amazing. Bunny, you should just blunder in here like that. I was just saying, wasn't I, lady? It's been so long since we had any sort of guests who weren't Imperial drones or Alteravas. You rub at your watering, slowly clearing eyes, and when you look back up on your rescuer, finally comes into focus. She's tall, taller than anyone else you've met. You think, also maybe a little older? Not that you're an expert in troll physiology, she's just has an air of knowledgeable incompetence. She's wearing a fringed jacket, holding up a plate. There you go. Your oculars feel any better? By the by, my name's Skylar. Pleasure to meet ya. And this here's lady. She looks down at first and you think she means the table. But then you look under the table at the giant monster dog looking up at you. You jolt so hard you almost fly backwards out of your goddamn chair. Well there. No need for theatrics. You look at a little like one of those Lassie dogs with the pointed noses, except enormous and pure white. It barks practically shake the whole house. Hey there, lady. Nothing to be rude. They've clearly had one hell of a time and they don't look dangerous. Just really peculiar. Besides, if they try anything, you and the me could take them. Skylar puts her hands on her hips, staring you down with thunderous yellow eyes. Right? No funny business. You hear? Smile and nod, trying to look unthreatening and unbleaching, ready for anything, for instance. Friendship, you're so ready for that. Sky settles down the plate she's holding. Here, have a crumb cake. There's plenty. That sounds gross as hell. But what's sitting on the plate looks and smells exactly like a normal pancake. Golden brown and crispy at the edges. There's boiled tree blood too if you like. Also churned dairy products. She puts down a carefree of syrup and a dish of butter. Butter. Man, everything here has really weird names. Sky pours out a cup of some very familiar smelling liquid. Brown bean juice. Guess? Ew. Skylar raises an eyebrow. No? That's just coffee. She sits down next to you. You're lucky you were only out in the light at dawn. Nobody wants to be out in direct alternate sunlight. Besides jade bloods. And no offense, but you certainly ain't any jade blood that I ever seen. Cause at first I thought you were some sort of mutated lucis, cause you don't have horns and we're grunting and yipping up a storm back there. But you're an alien, right? Don't worry, I won't call the drones. I best get used to being around aliens anyway. Seeing as how I'm gonna be seeing a whole mess of y'all in the next sweep. She laughs nervously. You aren't sure what she's talking about. Do you even need to specify that anymore? It's just natural law at this point. Gravity is a conversation of energy, and you don't know what the fuck is going on. Lady, would you mind drawing a bath for our guests? No offense, but you smell like you could use one. You can't argue with that. You offer her a cautious smile. God, she seems so nice and caring. But you've been burned before it cuts and generally kick around by fate. It's a tough world out there, but you want to trust Skyla. Lady takes a bucket in her muzzle and runs out into the yard, getting up on her hind legs and batting at the door latch to open it. It's adorable. The sun is high enough now that the whole landscape outside is washed in white. Oh god, the dog! Oh, it's sweet of you to worry. Lucy are fine going outside for a little while in daylight. Their coats reflect light or something to that effect. Oh, that kind of makes sense why all the animals are white. Because darker colors absorb heat, while white is better to less absorption, like less absorbs heat. That kind of makes sense. I don't really know how it works. I ain't exactly known for my scientific acumen. You tell her that she seems pretty smart from where you're standing. As cynical as you are becoming, you just can't help trying to be her friend. She seems so nice and, wow, really purty. She is pretty purty. Now that's a requirement for friendship, but your retinas would have to be way more scalded than they are not to notice that. That's nice of you to say, but it wouldn't even really matter if I was a bona fide genius. Some of my cast can never hope to rise up in my ranks. Best I can hope for is hauling crates on some cargo vessel. Ranks? Cargo vessel? You swallow your bite of a grub cake, ready to ask her if she is thinking about joining the military, but just then a swell noise erupts from outside the house. Shouts, crashes, and ladies' frantic barks. Skyla gasps and launches herself out of her chair, knocking out the carafe of syrup. It oozes across the tabletop in a sticky wave. Oh no, not now! What the hell is going on? Bandits! Goddamn loose sleeves! You don't get the chance to ask anything else before Skyla careens towards the door, showing up an arm as blazing white light pours in. Oh god, she's going to go outside and burn up. She isn't thinking straight. We gotta do something. We'll do the bad one first, because, we'll do the bad one. Stop her. Skyla is bigger than you, and she has the strength of both desperation and a superior genome, so you don't feel great about your chances. But you have to try. Skyla's too upset to be careful. You have to stop her from hurting herself. You stumble into her house, all gross and pathetic and alien. She didn't turn you away. She gave you pancakes, for Christ's sake. Grub cakes, whatever. And it isn't just the sun from the number of voices. There's gotta be 20 people out there. She doesn't stand a chance. You run up behind her and hook your arms under hers, hauling her back to the armpit. She struggles, jabbing her elbows into your aching ribs. Let me go! You don't understand! They'll take her! Lady! You're holding grimly on, going limp and use gravity in your own dead weight and pull her down to the floor. Through wheezing breaths, you tell her she can't go out there. Didn't she just tell you that you'd never have survived if it had been later than dawn? You probably aren't making much sense, but you keep up a stream of worthless bullshit until something catches. But your Lucy's really want this for you? Skyla would Lady really want you to sacrifice yourself for her? Skyla goes rigid and then all fight just drains out of her like blood down a drain. She sags back to your arms. The two of you watch Lady thrashing into a huge black net as several of the figure haul her away. The sun is too bright to see them clearly, but they appear to be herding more white creatures out of the padlock into a collection of vehicles. The herd. She says it so quietly, you feel it more than her hear it. Continue to watch as Lady is packed into the vehicles, and they drive away, picking kicking up clouds of dust that glimmer in the brutal sun. You can't let me go now. I'm not going to throw myself out into the daylight like a romance novel heroine. You realize just how tight you're holding on to her and lose your arms, pulling away and sitting up. Skylar's cheeks are wet with tears, but she quickly shakes her hair into her face to hide it. It makes your heart hurt. You want to tell her that everything's going to be okay, but you make it a point not to lie to your friends. You have absolutely no idea how it's going to be. And before you can say anything at all, she gets up and disappears through a door and further into the house. Give her some space. You decide to mind your own business. Well, you do try the door, but it's locked. Best to keep it occupied and do what you can for her first. Shut the door and keep that sweltering heat and blinding light out. Then you tidy up the kitchen a little. Everything here is oddly textured and colored. The shape's unusually organic. Some of it is worryingly scuddly and alive. You do your best. Oh no, the picture back there. Oh no, the dog's gone. You mop up the syrup and straighten the chairs. You're just trying to figure out how to get the sink to spit out some water onto the dirty dishes. Miskela comes back out, her eyes are dry, and her hair is coming back out of her face. Don't you worry about that. You're gonna break something. She plays with one of her beaded bracelets with nervous little fidgets of her fingers. I could never have taken those fellas by myself, especially not in broad daylight. I want to thank you for stepping in and stopping me. I was overwrought. You nod and accepting her things. She doesn't seem overwrought anymore, just calm. Wow, this is actually a legitimately terrible situation. Not even a dumb, zany way like all the other horse shit that has happened to you recently. You wonder who those guys even were. Lucy's thieves. They've come before, but always at night and never in such large numbers. So Lady and me could always take them. I never expected anything like this. For them to come out in force like this in the middle of the day? She sits down at the table, putting her elbow in a patch of syrup you missed. You offer her the dishcloth and notice several little discolored patches on her arm. It looks like she got burned just from having her arm out the door for like a minute and a half. I'm really glad you didn't let her go out there. You've endured a lot of heinous shit on your short span of this planet, injuries, and lots of bad insults to those injuries. But the time you spend with Skilla waiting for the sun to go down is some of the worst and most hopeless. We don't know what to say to help her. You aren't actually her friend, you aren't even the same species. The troll-Lucy relationship is a little confused, but you seem to be some kind of combination of caretaker and pet, more symbiotic than parent and child. Finally, it gets late enough to venture outside, and you follow Skilla out to the empty paddock. There's nothing out here but a broken fence and a trampled ground. Lots of kids lose their Lucy. It's just a part of life. I would have been heading to the ordeals next week anyway. I would never have seen her again. But at least I would have gotten the chance to say goodbye, you know? It's kind of a bummer how resigned everyone on this planet seems to terrible things happening. Then again, I guess that's sort of true on your planet too. Existence is just a goddamn mess. Try to give her the most understanding look you can. Just a really good and spur of friend face. You're killing it. But Skyla isn't paying attention to your glowing facade. She's reaching into her jacket and pulling out her phone. What the hell? My palm husk is blowing up. Oh god. Skyla drops her phone in the dirt and claps a hand over her mouth. Her eyes sparkle with tears. Pick it up. It's kind of squishy and squirms in your hands a little, which you don't love. You also don't love what's on the screen. It's a troll in a mask, holding a gun on Lady, who's still in that net, baring her teeth. The gun looks fake, kind of like a Nerf gun. Bet it's not a Nerf gun. The phone is accompanied by more of that spiky text that you can't read. Hey, how can you understand the Altolian spoken language, but not the written? You decide not to think about it too hard. Waste of time. They send a ransom demand. They say that if I can't pay, they'll sell her. Controllers are bad for their strength all over the galaxy. The heiress knows about the black market, but she doesn't do anything about it. She just takes a cut. You ask her how much the ransom demand is for. As if you have a penny to your name. She tells you the number that sounds stupidly large, even without knowing the exchange rate to Earth money. They're just mocking me. They know a bronze blood can't afford this. They just want to force me to fail her on one more time. Her voice breaks on a sob. Reach over and put your hand on her arm. She looks at you with a big watery eyes, and you brace for her to fall into your arms sobbing. You're actually kind of hoping for it. Not that you're the type to want to profit off another's plan, but pretty sure that offering comfort in a time of crisis is the first class ticket to a Friendsville. Instead, Skylar gives you a hard shove backward. You take 2 stumbling steps and fall on your ass. Something squishes underneath you. A cow pat? Or something alive? You aren't sure which you prefer, honestly. Sorry. I didn't actually push you that hard. Your species just seems pretty flimsy. I don't want sympathy right now. Especially not from you. She stands framed between the 2 moons, some trick of perspective making her look just as distant. And just as sad, not just that the moons are inherently sad. Whatever. That's not the loosest right now. Has Skylar been lying to you before when she said she doesn't blame you? She'd even thank you for stopping her from killing yourself. Now, I don't blame you. I just can't stand the sight of you. Looking at you just reminds me of losing Lady. I don't think that'll ever change. Sorry. I really was hoping we could be friends. It's been a really long time since I've seen anybody out here that goes on 2 legs instead of 4. But I just don't think it's gonna work out. If you start walking now, you can probably make it to the city before sunrise. Or there's a jade blood colony nearby if you want to inflict a personal brand of assistance on them. Bye. You leave with your proverbial tail between your legs, and the last glimpse you get of Skylar, she's standing next to the empty paddock, staring at the ground. Game over. Oh boy. Let's do the happy ending. Let's go fuck up some animal thieves. What the hell? You've heard it. You've already experienced the Alternian sun. It sucked a whole lot. Maybe how will suck less because of how bad it sucked then. Just a sliding scale of suckage. Skylar plunged out into the daylight in the direction of the commotion, and like a big dumb asshole, you barrel out into the blazing hellscape after her. Surprise! It still sucks. We've had sunburns before, but this is ridiculous. This is a fucking monster of a gas giant pointing and laughing at the tiny speck of humanity you represent, traveling before the void. It's pure assault on all of your senses. The light, it's almost as bad as the heat. You put up your arms to block the glare. Following the dust, Skyla kicks up behind her. You doubt your eyes will actually ever adjust to this fuckery, but you can see a little better than before. There are about a dozen of them all over them trolls, all wearing dark, padded outfits that cover their faces. They all look halfway between hazmat suits and SWAT uniforms. All of them have big, fake-looking guns that probably aren't fake. In fact, one of them shoots a laser at your face. You duck and it leaves a blazing heat trail across your cheek. But as all of you are currently burning, it doesn't really break your stride. Sky throws herself into a fray, letting out a war cry, accompanied by the sound of a fist hitting flesh. It's a 12 against 2, which, if you remember your factions right, is not unlike a 6 against 1. But these guys had probably not been expecting a frontal assault, and they had definitely not been expecting a Skyla, who is frankly fucking terrifying. She shoves 3 trolls down like dominoes, grabbing up a discarded gun and shooting all 3 while they're all on the ground. You have never been in a fight before? A fucking all-out brawl? It's scary, but now that you're in the thick of it, also kind of awesome. Sure, your skin is burning and you could be killed at any moment, but that's just how it goes on this planet. You just gotta get into the swing of things, take no prisoners, kill, be killed. Hell yeah! You pop one of the bandit trolls in the face. Fuck! That probably hurt your fist more than it hurt the troll, but it does throw them off balance for long enough for Scott to smash the butt of her gun into the side of their head. Yeah! Hell yeah! She gives you a wild grin. Oh man, that was perfect timing. She gives you a wild grin. The two of you are beaming at each other while a hostile alien stun tries to boil away the liquid form your eyeballs, and a bunch of bandits trying to dog nap a giant monster. You love this gal! In a friendship way, of course, platonically. Sometimes cowboy girls are kind of hot, not gonna lie. But it's platonic way. We're looking for friendship. But still, you love her. You make an awesome team. Another troll comes up behind Sky, and she smashes an elbow into their throat, grabbing them by the front of their uniform and suplexing them onto the dusty ground. She wails on them with her bare hands. God, she's really hot. Get lady! Oh right, you sum over to where the Lucis is, thrashing inside the big black net. You don't have any way to cut her free, but she's already doing great on her own, biting through the fibers with her big sharp teeth. You hold the net still for her to finish the job, then pull it off her so she can join the fray. It's over the fast after that. How did they even get Lady into the net in the first place? She's so giant and quick, grabbing trolls in her jaws and shaking them like chew toys. The remaining 5 who are still staying jump into their weird little doom buggies. We love little weird little doom buggies. We love them so much. They look like scaly little beetles. Skylight chases after them for a few hundred yards, throwing the gun after them and shouting obscenities. And stay away, you hear? Tell the rest of them why you don't ever fuck with a Rusty's Ranch. She stands, silhouetted against the blazing sun. The dust trails vanishing into the distance. You're awash in heady victory, giggling like a lunatic, before the adrenaline kind of drains out of you all at once. You are violently reminded of the fucked up ribs and recent blood loss. The Alternian sun beats down, and your arms are already covered in raised patches of red skin. This is a sunburn turn up to 11. Oh there, are you okay? Sky is swaying too. A spray of olive green blood covers her cheek. At least the rainbow blood on this planet means you can be sure it isn't hers. But she still looks rough, kind of how you feel. Lady! Come in, girl! Wow, you just gonna sit down, maybe just take a little break? The pale landscape keeps going even paler. No, you can't rest here. You'll die, dumbass! I'm not letting anything happen to my new best friend! Get up! New best friend. Holy shit, that makes you so happy. You absolutely can't die here. Not when you just made such an amazing, hot cowboy girlfriend. Somehow the two of you managed to drag each other across the yard and toward the house. Hive. You're gonna get this lingo down if it kills you. Wherever you feel yourself about to fall forward, you lean on Skyla. And when you start to fall back, Lady is there to brace yourself against the back of your knees. She's such a good Lucis. I wonder if she'll be your friend too. Her muzzle is dripping with soup of a multicolored alien blood. when you get back into the darkness of the hive, you can't see shit. Dang, our species really ain't suited for this kind of environment, huh? You can't even see in the dark. In demonstration, you walk right into the table. You about had it with tables. We're sworn enemies at this point. Please, don't knock down my nutrition platform. I built it myself. She sounds exhausted but giddy. Dang, you really did that thing, didn't you? Kind of wanted to go in for the hug, but that sunburn is really something. It feels like tiny needles piercing your arms and cheeks. The back of your neck is a colony of fire ants. Oh yeah! Feels real bad, don't it? Come on, there's only one cure for sun rash. Skylar takes her hand. Gosh, this is next level friendship stuff. She leads you through her hive, and who knows if you are ever going to get all your vision back. Maybe you're just blind for life. You'll have to get a chance whimsical instead and learn to navigate the world by smell alone. No, that would be stupid. Here we go. My coop isn't huge, but I'm kind of scrawny. What are you waiting for? Take your clothes off. Oh, man, the sun must have fucked up with more than just your eyes, because you could have sworn Skylar just told you to take your clothes off. You are seriously not getting into my recreation in those filthy rags. I'm not even sure what those clothes were supposed to be originally. Yeah, you aren't sure about your look either. Another new friend of yours told you it was rad, but you were both a little high at the time. Like, really high. Might be a little high right now. You wonder if sunstroke causes auditory hallucinations. Also, don't know what a Cooper-coon is. Really? Then what the heck do you sleep in your planet? You hear a rustling followed by the sound of clothes hitting the floor. And then a weird gloop, like something getting into the bathtub, only thicker. If Rachel did have super, well, I don't really know what would have happened. But I reckon it would be great. It could speed the healing process for burns and small wounds. I'm not sure what's gonna do to your weird alien anatomy, but I do see as how it's gonna make it anyway worse. Tell Skylar that in your experience things you can always get worse, especially from her perspective right now. Since she's about to see you naked, nothing like a little self-deprecating humor as an A+ cover for crippling insecurity. Skylar laughs. Don't laugh at my body. Come on now. I'm sure you're a perfectly healthy example of your species. Just get in already. Promise this isn't any sort of pale silication. Or flush, or for that matter. I know it's awkward, but I only got the one coop. Right, okay, yeah, you can totally do this. You can make this, not weird. Of course, you trip taking off your goddamn pants and Sky starts laughing all over again. Not in a mean way, more in a chill, please join me in my slime bathtub, old chum way. In a non-awkward way. In a friend way. Victory! Just two bros chilling in a cocoon. And that was volume 3! We did it! Hooray! It was so nice to revisit that. I don't know why and I apologize for trying to put up a southern accent. It was just the music and the environment and the character that influenced that situation. But I'm sure it'll be different because we're gonna meet a jackass. Well, some like one of the jackasses. Volume 4, I would say this. One of them characters had like much of personality that I find intriguing. The other was I just went through it and I just really did not care for the second one. But I like pretty much gone through it just trying to get the achievements. But what am I saying but for? I think it'll be my first time to actually experience this guy's behavior. I think it just didn't find him interesting as much, but who knows? Maybe after years of coming back to this, I get to see it. Fresh from your most recent bout of gratuitous bodily injury and touching scenes of camaraderie, You soldier on. You've had a few setbacks, made a couple silly choices. Boy, things do just keep happening. But let nobody say that you, the main character, are incapable of growth and change. You have made sure not to be caught in the wilderness near dawn again. You've made your way back to civilization. You can't wait to discover what new adventures await you. Adventures like friendship. Tagora. Gorgic. You wander down a street in a not too demolished looking part of town, but you don't really take much of it in. You're not looking where you're going. This is an elementary mistake. Especially on a planet where everything that exists seems to be on a spectrum engineered specifically for murder to could be a weapon in a pinch, but you've got a lot in your mind. And now, as the car, these guys probably have some ridiculous word for it, but you haven't learned it. You hadn't noticed slams into you, sending you flipping head over feet. You had a few new concerns to your list. Your bones and organs. Oh shit, we got run over. And the sounds of a driver yelling, "Watch where you're going, lump skirt chugger!" fades as they drive away, and you assess your situation. My broken ass. Oh no. You stretch each limb in turn, which you gotta say doesn't feel great. Land in a bush which is covered by sharp spines. Your arm and legs are still work. Though, and when you do an experimental cough, no blood comes out. Pretty lucky, you think. Could be worse. You may have redefined what luck means by this point in your journey, but you'll take what you can get. You don't figure that luck will extend to the driver turning around to help you out of this bush. Your gaze meeting and sparking an immediate and intense connection that leads to a beautiful lifelong friendship. But you let yourself hope. After a few minutes of struggle, you'll answer to your camaraderie daydream comes into focus above you. A figure outlined by spiny leaves of your plant prison and the glow of the moons. The troll you see isn't the driver of the car, but you don't care. Your heart is beating wildly with your continual lucky streak. Hello. You seem to have fallen victim to a collide and scamper with that scuttle buggy back there. 50 plus introductory fee. Oh, interesting. Have you contacted your personal legislator? If not, I'd like to offer my service. My name is Tagora Gorgic, but please call me Gorgor. I'm here for you. For a nominal fee. I'm here for you for a nominal fee, of course. He pulls a business card from his sleek teal vest and offers it to you with a precise flick of the wrist. His claw beds are perfect. Try again to sit up, buoyed by this offer for your assistance. He seems some type of doctor, maybe, or lawyer? It doesn't matter, really, because he said he was here for you, but those words go right ahead and burn themselves onto the softest chamber of your heart. You start telling him your plight thus far, pitching up you through the brims towards this beacon of hope. This guy seems trustworthy, and that's not just your lack of options talking, you swear. As you shift, the moonlight shines on you. He steps back briefly, dropping the card. The one eye that's not covered by a swoop of the product-infused hair opens wide. He recovers, smoothing his hands down his chest and straightening up, clearing his throat as you continue to explain. You're a what? Oh, yes, an alien. I knew that. I've done work with aliens before. So, your situation shouldn't be an issue at all. Alien registrations to stripe in, $200 plus. Great. Everyone deserves an equal opportunity to be represented by me. In fact, we may be able to use this in our favor for a larger cachet settlement. It all depends on our angle. Here, try moving your chug column. You aren't sure why there is why this is necessary, but you wiggle your torso, hoping that it's right. You've never wanted anything more in your merger existence than to follow this specific directive perfectly. No, not that. I just realized this is like... Tagora does have... Is Tagora based on Better Call Saul? Because he's got, after seeing like memes of Better Call Saul and some clips of it, and it's just... Tagora has that kind of vibe with him. Like, he's a lawyer, but shady one. No, not that. You add a little hip jiggle. Not so much that he might think it's a come on, but enough to say, hey, I'm friendly and I know what the fuck I'm doing. No, you're the thing that holds up your think pan. Work with me. Confusion in moments. Sexy plus. You continue what you hope is part of a troll friendship ritual, shimmering various parts of your anatomy deeper into the bush until you get your neck. He clasps his hands together. There we go. That one hurt, didn't it? Definitely a case of column and snap, which can get us a decently hefty restitution. Your neck feels fine, or it doesn't hurt anymore than the rest of you, but you give him what you hope is a convincingly painful nod of agreement. Of course, you will need to front the initial legislation costs. We may also have to injure you further to ensure our case is convincing, but we got to break a few cluck beasts and burritos to make a grublet, as you well know. 500 initial costs. Oh god. 880? Yes, I think we may make a mutual beneficial team if you're willing to do what it takes to bring about the justice you serve. So, what do you say? How would you like to help me help you? He's talking really fast, and you're not sure exactly what to think about your lack of funds, or the idea of breaking any more bones. But that smile is sharp and shiny, and pointing right at you. Want more of it? Ba-ba-ba. He's talking really fast, and you're not sure exactly what to think about your lack of funds, or the idea of breaking any more bones, but that smile is sharp and shiny, and pointing right at you. Want more of it? Tell him about the heaps of money you definitely have. Ask him if he does pro bono work. You think it profusely for his offer to help, and explains that while your situation hasn't exactly left you very rich, you'll pay him back in glorious friendship, the most infinite of resources. You lay it on thick. He seems like a guy who can appreciate a good deal when he sees one, and you can't imagine a better deal than this. You reach both arms up, waiting for him to scoop you up out of this pain plant like the gentle baby you are. Sorry, I don't do charity. Such a shame, too. I was hoping working with an alien might make for a more interesting day than usual. Minus 900, you're not worth it. He turns on his heel and walks away, his high ponytail swishing behind him. Friendship is not a currency. Tell him about the heaps of money you definitely have. Oh yeah, I'm rolling in the money. I'm rolling in the bank, which explains why I'm a cardboard box. Definitely not because I don't have the funds. You mentioned how incredibly loaded you are, and how core to your sense of values it is to pay well for good work. That's what we call good business. Now, get up out of that prickle farm, and let's get you presentable. He watches you flail a few times before he sighs, unbuttons his sleeves, and rolls them up to his elbows. Each fold is crisp and even. It takes a while, but you are good at being patient. There is a 12% cost increase for instance of a manual labor. It'll all be explained in your bill. 110 plus manual labor? It's itemized. I'm sure an alien of means such as yourself will be able to handle it. You take his hand, and he pulls you up and out of the bush. It's kind of a rough job. He's not as strong as he looks, you guess. He glares at you like he's daring you to say shit about it, and you are quick to learner, but he cuts you off mid-thank you. My office isn't far from here. We could go there to get things started. And by things, I absolutely mean get you clean and sign a lot of vaguely worded yet extremely biting documents. It walks with a purpose. You shake off the floor, stuck in your various body parts, and do your best to catch up. From the outside, his office basically just seems like his hive. You've learned a thing or two during this shitstorm of a cultural exchange, though. You gotta play it cool when a potential friend invites you home. You never know what cages or monsters or methods of evisceration they might have laying around, and you want to prepare a nice, chill look on your face for whatever carnage you're about to be confronted by. Oh, he's got a ferret! Oh, look at it, he's got a little ferret guy. That's... or a weasel. I think it's either a ferret or a weasel. It doesn't work. Your face falls to bewildered hell when you walk inside because it's all chrome and glass and broad white walls in there. Oh, you have a boring taste of architecture. Okay. It's all chrome. It's like he bought the fanciest looking crate and barrel display room he could find, down to the last useless minimalist accessory, and then never sat down in it. His Lucis is a ferret. Oh yeah, he was a ferret. It's chilling on an enormous silver thing that's halfway between a throne and a play tower. Everything is clean and bright and at perfect right angles, and you don't see any weapons anymore. It's a fucking creepy. You ask him if he just moved in because polite conversation seems to like maybe the best thing you can do in the absence of something specific to focus your fear on. You're just sort of a little afraid of everything. You're not paying me to learn my life story unless you like to. In that case, no. I've lived here most of my life. I'll go ahead and add that to your bill. Oh shit, life story installment. 1,500? Damn. You stare at one of the chairs should you sit in it. By all means, do not make yourself at home. Head straight to the abolition trap while I prepare our contract. You really want to connect with this guy, and you like how you just vibe there. Where you were thinking about sitting your bed-wrangled ass in his fancy chair, and he could totally tell you were thinking it, but you don't want to be friends badly enough to walk straight into something that has the word trap right there. It seems without at least pondering it for a second. Become savior during all this. Oh. You strain something in the word trap and you become savior during all this. Okay. Okay, I just want to make sure. No entrapment, please. Take a goddamn bath. No entrapment, please. You tell him you would rather stay away from any and all traps if that's alright. You mentioned that you think that's the better move for both of you. Something tells you that this guy wants to know what's in it for him. Probably all the times he said explicitly that you don't have that vibe going after all. He taps a claw on his chin and looks at you up and down. He takes his time and try not to blush. No matter how exacting his gaze is. You present a solid case. Your whole look is more than a bit repellent, but it may make the political lost alien angle more emotionally effective if you still look like you just got run over. Frown. It takes you a second to realize he didn't just say his physical emotive response instead of doing it with his face. He's giving you a distraction. You stick your lower lip out and try to look as pathetic as possible. Yes, this is really working for me. It's awful. Completely repugnant. Your general squalor should function as a simple manipulation tactic, no matter which direction I decide to spin it. The praise makes it hard to keep frowning, but you do your best to keep it up. You can hunch over a bit and shamble a few meager steps towards him. Great, yes! That's enough. No need to come any closer. Seriously, you smell terrible. 400 plus. Okay then. We'll skip the hygiene and go straight to the best part. Bureaucracy. Stay right there and don't get any of your crusty alien orifices near my decor. I'll go print out our contract and we can move on. Reimbursement for ink, re-ink reimbursement. $100 plus. You pretend you're a statue while he types things, then type things, and then staples and printed things. His spirit Lucis stares at you with beady interest. You stare back, completely motionless. You wonder how often Gore has friends over. He brings the packet over to you and hands you a pen. Read this, or don't. Sign it either way. It's a standard legislature agreement, tweaked a bit to accommodate your particular situation. You agree to submit your testimony to be judged and will accept whatever subjugation you receive. You recognize that any potential winnings are to be remitted to me for the processing through all local accounts before your portion can be dispensed to you. In the event of your calling, I will act as your escalator for your accounts. Blah blah. Some old business. I'm sure it's the same where you're from. There are stars at each place. These you are to initial. Here, there. Shrunken text expense. That sure was a lot of stuff that you just got told real fast. You were trying to listen really, but he winked at you eerily on his monologue and was really distracted because you couldn't stop thinking about it. If you could incorporate a wink into a secret handshake, maybe. Anyway, regular legal jargon, yeah, just like all the times you clicked to say you read the terms and conditions, or any old harmless social media app. That stuff never ends up being relevant. You show off your exquisitely polished John Hancock as many times as it takes. Excellent. Everything's in order then. Are you ready to head out? Oh, like now? You're not ready? Do you look roughed up enough? Will your bones need to go through any more ordeals? What's a subjugator does to Tagora? No, sweep, like the ones you're fucking in, as they say. Swear jar. Pardon the language. It's an idiom. It means it's time to fucking go. Let's watch that fucking language, good sir. You follow him out about as apprehensive as you followed him in. As you retrace the path you took not too long ago, that occurs to you that wandering this glorious field of justice is like, if anyone is going to support the asshole that hits you. Is that even a thing there? You skip up to match Tagora's pace and ask. There is no real need for you to worry about that. It's for me to deal with. I saw the perpetrator, of course. If it seems prudent to pin the crime on them when the time comes, we'll have more than enough credible evidence to condemn them. Their blood cash should be sufficient, but if it seems worth it to call in their dented skull buggy, I can certainly do that as well. Bonus for potential frame job! Yay! Of course, that's not the way we can spin this. It may be necessary to involve them at all. Don't bother worrying about that either. You definitely still worry about that, but not and keep walking like you're not bothered. You want to match his level of easy confidence. It's almost comforting to be around it now that you spent some time with him. Simple. You're still basking in the ease of being told what to do when the whole vibe flips over on its ass so fast you feel it like ice down your back. You look at Tagora's first. He stopped walking and his posture somehow gets straighter. Even his cute little ponytail thing looks more alert. Oh wait, this is a ponytail. Okay, that's Oh, he just has like a weird... That... Okay, that's just like a really weird hair style, honestly. He's staring at the approach of another troll, a blue guy. You know that means high blood, but not much else. But what that entails, aside from what you're picking up from the full hair on end cat reaction from old Gorgor next to you. Pleasant evening, sir. His voice gets somehow sweeter and more professional at the same time. You recognize what he's feeling because you felt it in yourself the whole time. You've been on this god-forsaken planet, a deep, all-consuming thirst for approval. He's gunning hard for business beef friendship. The hybrid, however, is not. At first, you think he might be chill because his smile gets huge, and hell, if you don't love getting smiled upon. You start to introduce yourself until Tagora shoots you a be cool look. It's then that you learn that this guy's smile is not the nice kind. What's this? He asks. Gorgor picked up a little friend. It's not. We have a working relationship. You try not to let this dismissal of your friendship sting. You're not there yet. It's okay. You want to be helpful, so you put on your best injured face and start hobbing in a circle, twisting your neck at the most grotesque angle you can manage without actually hurting yourself. You groan pitifully about all your bones. Oh, right, your booming drone pursuing business. This is a client you have here. Looks extra shitty. Good luck getting anything good for whatever this mutant is that you scrape up from the gristle grate. If you take a moment to consider the potential. The blue guy rolls his eyes and keeps walking, elbowing his way right between the two of you on his way past, like you're nothing. Tagora freezes, his eyes stay fixed ahead of him, where the blue guy was just standing. It's like he wasn't processed the movement yet. Even though he got knocked back a few steps in his wake, he starts shaking. Yikes, that was tense. He wants to say something reassuring to Tagora, but he has some kind of descended into another plane of existence. Maybe a nice reassuring pat on the shoulder will help diffuse the mood. You put a ginger hand in the mirroring vicinity of his body, and he whirls to face you, eyes narrowed and breaking heavy. You snatch your hand back fast. Mistake. You. Do you have any idea how rare that networking opportunity was? Do you realize what you... Damages for slides down antisocial ladder. $5,000. No, of course you don't. You don't know anything. You just a weird little homeless thing who doesn't even know how to cross the fucking street. He starts laughing all pitched and weird up until now he seemed so sick. Oh, unflappable. That Gorgor is hard to reconcile with the one pacing back and forth, hollering and grabbing at his face. He's pretty goddamn flat. Oh boy, you really screwed up, huh? Maybe your busting neck routine must not convincing enough, or too convincing. Either way, you figure now might be the time to bow out before the scene really blows up. You tell him so. Your neck is fine. Look, your head bang a bit of proof. No. A deal is a deal is a deal. You know, I kind of do I don't know if I ship him a while back, but I shipped him with the blue guy. I forgot which one. It was the business looking man. I think it's further down, but yeah, he's the one with the blue tie. I don't know why, but I shipped those two together for some reason. I don't know why. It just feels right. He breathes in slowly through his nose. Alright, Gorgor remembers your mantra. He closes his eyes after an awkward minute of watching him whisper something unintelligible to himself. He opens them and immediately starts up that bonkers pace again, so you skedaddle to catch up. He keeps talking, though by now he's just talking to himself, with you as a eavesdropping barnacle. With really slow legs, a little manic giggle bubble out in between his sentences. We're headed towards justice, alright? Keep walking. We're seeing this through. I've got a bottom line to uphold. Okay, not bad. Maybe things are still cool between you. Maybe this lawyer-client relationship still has a chance to blossom into something more. You venture a friendly type of topic and ask him about his mantra. He stops walking and looks at you like you shat on his Lucy's grave. Don't just ask someone what their mantra is. Mantra request for Fichio, $2,500. Maybe not so cool. He shivers. He spoke and turns his stinky stare from you to the path you're on. After a moment, he smooths back all the hairs he shook out of his place during his freakout, pivots, and turns down a side street. Anyway, as I was about to say, there are many ways to fulfill terms of our contract. I was hoping this would lead to more stimulating evening. I was prepared to get into with you for you, but it has become clear that this partnership is no longer worth the work. Especially now that I will have to consider the significant career setback I just experienced at your feckless hand. So instead of wasting any more of my time of yours, let's take a shortcut to the same end result, sparing us both the agony of enduring a long court battle in the proximity of one another. Here's your verdict. You're guilty. Guilty verdict. Immersement. Under $2,500. $12,500. Jesus. Guilty? Wait, wasn't it supposed to be the other guys on trial? You look around, panic, raising your chest. Oh, don't tell me. You don't know how the legal system works. Either unsurprisingly and uninteresting. Oh, this is bad. You've been so caught up in watching him talk that you didn't notice him guiding you straight to the shittier part of town. You know, the part that's all half demolished, hives and creepy noises and drones flying around. Drones like the one that turns to notice you when Tagora whistles, snaps his fingers, and points right at your head. Hey, big guy. Over here. One extremely malformed, unviable troll. Wait, what? Just the way you like it. You shouldn't feel surprised at this betrayal. Maybe, but you do, for a second anyway. Then you focus on yelling and scanning for possible debris to hide under. Tagora starts backering away as the drone gets closer. There's a sewer next to the street over. You probably won't make it, but if you do, check your pocket. But do specify for bad end. Oh, my bill. Oh, okay. Oh, so that was the bad end. Okay. Okay, go take a goddamn bath. You're more than a little concerned about the trap part of the instructions you just received. But hey, at least a trap you know about it is better than one you don't. And with everything else, you can see so freaky pristine he has the hiding for some evil somewhere you wonder if it's a dungeon. A dungeon could be cool. The ferret bounds down to the pedestal and jerks its head for you to follow it. You do because it seems like a regular thing to do. And Tagora is busy on his computer. Wow, this is actually pretty cool. It leads you to a bathroom, which is just as fancy and clean as everything else you've seen. Lucy chitters at you for a second, squirms its big noodle body around, and leaves shutting the door behind it. You wait a second till it's probably gone before you test the handle of the unlocked button. It's unlocked, huh? You wonder what the point or, motive might be for leading you to this room until you turn and see yourself in the mirror. That is some haggard-looking stuff right there, so fair. You're flying by the seat of your pants, but you guess maybe you're supposed to take a bath? If not, he gets pissed and unleashes the ferret on you. At least you'll meet your maker nice and clean. You half expect some sort of goo or blood or something to come out of the faucet in the weird lumpy tub, but thankfully it's just water. Once you're in, you take a look at the truly inordinate amount of bath products you have at your fingertips. There are 3 shelves of little bottles and soaps, an unidentifiable lather, some accessories by the tub alone. There's even more by the mirror. The labels are all gibberish, of course, but you sniff a few until you find something flowery and go to town. You take more time than you should in there, but you have experienced a moment of luxurious solitude, and a bit of a full-time friendship searching can be difficult work. It's good to recharge. Once you finally freshly scrubbed and dried, you slather yourself head to toe with some lotion you find in the iridescent vial. You hope he won't mind you using it. Wants you to be presentable, and this stuff is sparkly. You start to feel rejuvenated as hell, ready to knock this friendship stuff right out of the park. You leave your dirty, torn up old clothes on the floor, wrap yourself in one of the many satin bathrobes folded on the shelf, and headed back out to find Tagora. He's standing in his foyer, waiting for the conscript he typed up for you. When he sees you, his eyebrows sticks up. I see you went with the Rainbow Drinker Serum. Full body application. Bold choice. I mean, it's an incredible, rare, and expensive product, and I do expect to be reminiscent, but I won't lie. It works. It works. 50 Crush Fresh Handmade Troll Cosmetics. Yeah, sure, that stuff you don't want to let on that you don't know what it is, since he seems impressed. Instead, you give his ego a little stroke and tell him you hadn't seen such an array of self-care equipment in so long that you couldn't help yourself. Not everyone takes skincare as seriously as they should. I assume you were taking forever in there because you got lost or didn't know how to use an ambulation trap. I hadn't considered the possibility that you were just doing your resume noted. Rebate into epical skincare. You hold your arms out to admire the well-hydrated sheen you have got going on. This time, you're not really even bullshitting. It's just does actually look pretty good. Tagora seems like he's struggling. He keeps opening his mouth to say something, then changing his mind. He is clutching the documents in his hands like a flotation device. He looks down at them, then back at you. I typically only use that particular product to highlight my cheek blades, but there's no real reason you shouldn't apply it more liberally, especially if cost isn't an issue. It's a little drastic for my personal style, but there is a certain orthodox glamour to it. The next bit looks like it hurts him a bit to get out. Do you? Would you like to step outside to see the full effect? You bet your ass you would. You're curious about what he means by effect, and this seems like more fun than signing stuff. He places the documents down his desk like they're made of glass, not paper. Looks up at his Lucis, who just sort of tilts its head to the side. Look away to give them privacy to do whatever eyeball communication is going on. After a bit, Tagora clears his throat and heads towards the door. You don't comment to the bluish flush in his cheeks. For all the shift in his demeanor, he still seems like he might kick you out on your ass if you try to get too feelingly with him. You start to glow as soon as you step back out into the dark front yard, not in the light bulb kind of way, but a subtle ethereal luminescence. What is this stuff? Now that is a look. I mean, there's still the unfortunate issue of your hornlessness and overall appearance, and the fact that you're still wearing an Albertian robe, but it's cutting edge. I'll give you that. $150 for a blue robe. You look almost like a real one. You don't know what that means, but you want to roll around internally in the praise part. You ask if you look will help your case. Oh, right, your case, of course. He bites his lip and looks back through the window at the papers sitting in the desk where he left them. You hope he still wants to represent you, or at least that he wants to hang out even if he wasn't going to. You don't get a chance to prod through because right then, someone rounds the corner on the sidewalk in front of his hive. Tagora's face immediately shudders into its usual simpering mask. There's an edge of panic around his eye, though. Whoa, Gorgic! What have we here? It's a blue-themed troll, which, if you remember right, means he's a fancier guy than Tagora. He's green like a troll Christmas came early. You can feel Tagora vibrating out of his skin next to you. Who even is this guy? When he gets close enough to get a good look at you, he jumps and screeches.
What the bulge boiling fuck? Tagora is frozen, the corner of his mouth pulled back to show his teeth. The new guy is ignoring him in favor of noticing that you dressed in Tagora's monogram leisure wear. If this look of fascinated horse is anything to go by, you don't really know what makes you do it. You should wait for Tagora to get himself together and do the talking. But you're riding the high of him, almost seeming like he was enjoying your company. Plus, nothing boosts confidence like looking like a beautiful, spooky angel. So you toss your head, but put your best fancy guy voice and say, "What? Never seen a real one before." You're placing all your chips on this guy knowing something you don't. But when his eyes get huge, he starts stumbling over himself to back away down the sidewalk. You know it's a payoff. Tagora blinks, then jumps right in, picking up direction where you left off. Surely someone as well informed as yourself knows a rainbow drinker when he sees one. The blue guy doesn't respond with anything more coherent than a string of yelps as he hightails it back the way he came. When he's gone, you turn to Tagora and ask him super casually what a rainbow drinker is. He stares at you inside of sun. Are you? Are you telling me you didn't know? You nod. And that you ran with it anyway? Exploiting the fear you picked up on turn to tide with a delicate encounter to your favor? You shrug, you guess so. You tell Tagora you hope his friend wasn't too freaked out. Friend? No, I hate that guy. There are so many times when being liked by your betters is helpful. Though, technically, fearing me is just as good as better. Maybe. So, you know. Thank you. Tagora's laugh is soft. It's not sound as you expected here. He's happy because of something you did. He can't help it, but you start laughing too. Oh, by the way, anyone who doesn't know what a rainbow drinker is, it's just vampires for the trolls. But, yeah. For anyone who's not well accustomed to Homestuck or HiveSwap knowledge, so just fun fact for you. Vampires exist in Homestuck. That was a bit of a rush, wasn't it? It was almost fun? Fun? I certainly didn't see it coming anyway. I understand you. I underestimated you. He gives you an appraising look, then takes a deep breath. You're so nervous all of a sudden. You feel unbalanced in the principle of what he might be about to say. From one perfecter to another, I will let you in once on something I haven't actually encountered an alien before. Searchers up for truth reveal, $250. Okay. Oh, sweet relief. You tell him his act was out airtight, and as long as everyone's doing the true thing, admit you lie a bit too. You aren't actually rich. Yes, that's clear now. You have the invaluable ability to fake it, though. That's potentially much better. Why don't we put your case on hold for the time being? You wouldn't have enjoyed the outcome of our legal system anyway. Preemptive interest on held suit. Okay. We can find an alternate means of you working off your debt. I think we may make a better team than I previously anticipated. With our wits combined, we can tackle bigger and better things than traffic injuries. He flexes his hand at the side, then in one swift and decisive moment, he extends it out to you on his face. Is something close to an honest-to-God real-ass smile. I've never actually formed a legitimate partnership of any sort before, but I believe this is how it's done. What do you say? Oh, minus 965. 5% friendship discount. The glow in your heart shines brighter than any expensive and still kind of mysterious lotion you take. His hand in your firm, no nonsense grasp of pure, inexorable joy, and shake it. Business partners, friendship. Just sign here and here. Hang on, let me just. Their friendship. Yeah. Perfect. I don't know if this would be a good thumbnail, but yeah, this is great. I love this. That's one friend down, one to go. Great! Now we have one troll left to do for today before we finish off. That is the pilot troll. The pilot troll. Pilot troll. Ba 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 ba. Vicari Retite. The one I just pretty much button mashed through his dialogue. If you're like a fan of Vicari or Vicari lover, I apologize. He's not. He's okay. He's just not my favorite or least hated. So that says a lot. He's just alright. He's an alright dude. Vicari Retite. Yeah, I don't even think I even gave him like a headspace voice for him. That says a lot. Okay. It's probably the best for you to stop trying to predict what's going to happen to you at this point. Everything that's happened so far is... Man, it's been kind of chaotic. In fact, you're ready for something more familiar. You head back to the site of your abandoned spaceship. Sure, it's smashed beyond repair, but it's a little slice of home. Maybe at least one or two pieces of it are fixable. You march off in what you think is the right direction. But when you get there, you're not alone. A little guy in a hat and a big goggles is standing there, gazing at your spaceship, maybe assessing it? As you watch, he breaks off a couple gears and stuffs them in his pocket. Hey! You clear your throat loudly. That's my shit! Don't break it! How dare you? Good galloping gravy! Why, I've never seen the likes of you before! What strange wonders the heavens have rained down upon us today! You quickly lose indignation. You were building up. He's smiling at you, and his words seem at least somewhat amicable. Maybe you get this all wrong. Maybe this is the next person you're going to get chummy with. You cut right to the chase. No point in being around the ground leaf covering. That's probably what they call it on this planet. You let this guy know you're the proprietor of the spaceship he's stripping, and you're in the mighty needs of a new friend. A friend, eh? A bosom companion? A pal about town? I've seen nary a Tommen, Dickus, or Harry around these parts who might fit the bill. You were kind of trying to imply that this guy could be your friend? Is it too late to say that now? Try and apply it with your eyebrows. As for me, day-to-day matters here in Alternia interest me not. For I care only about hurtling at great speeds through the boundless expanse of the cosmos. That's right, space! It is spaceflight that consumes my every waking thought and all of my adore. It's in accordance with my duty as a future Eternian Crusader, of course. After just giving this guy a proper voice, I'm starting to like his vibe. No oxygen, no wind, a total vacuum. That is life for me, all right? Flying in space above the atmosphere, not within the realm of gravity's purview. Wouldn't have it any other way. Right, you get the feeling you're... right, you get the feeling you're missing something. This guy seems really defensive about his interest in spaceflight. Like, maybe he's trying to say something totally different. Whatever it is, his internal conflict clearly takes precedence over your issues. He seems like a great candidate for a friend, despite the fact his voice sounds like it belongs over a newsreel about World War II. I have just one query for you, sport, if I may be so bold. Do you also like spaceflight? Do you yearn to see the moon shining above the clouds, whipping by as you chase and tase the Empress Western Wind? And then also keep going past that up into space? Okay. Tell him you're not so sure about spaceflight. His eyes widen, you see them sparkle. Ah, I see. You're an individual with a more sophisticated palate. A real connoisseur of the buoyant arts you are. Someone like you can never be satisfied with the anemic affair of traveling through the inky blackness of the galaxies. I believe a jaunt to my hive is in order. Let's get a wiggle on. There was a lot going on there, but you understand that he wants you to follow him. The friendly guide takes you to the building where all of the rooms seem to be balanced on spindly looking stilts. The hive soars above you, up into the sky. Huh. He gestures you to a little platform attached to a pulley system, like a rudimentary elevator. It brings you up to the small dark room. Oh, cool. His house is pretty much what you would have guessed. The walls are covered in star maps and pictures of spaceships. You notice that many of them have clearly slogans splashed across them, saying things like, "Explore the galaxies," because you're required to fulfill your duty to society and enlist travel. Enlist! Travel! Make friends! Don't get cold! Your new friend doesn't seem too happy as he looks around the place. Just the hive for a dedicated spacecraft enthusiast, isn't it? You nod. You're not sure what this is leading to, but no one ever went wrong relying on non-specific and plausible deniability agreement. Who am I fooling? You've rumbled me, potentially new chum. What you see before you is a collage of falsehoods. I am nothing but an aviator of baloney. In truth, the mere temptations and desires of space do nothing to tickle my biscuit. The thought of participating in the glorious internal conquest gives me the screaming mimus. My interest lies in something a little lower down. He reaches up and peels back one of the posters. Behind it is another poster, this one showing a view of clouds in the night sky. Behold! My shame! The truth is, I long toss and turn within the grasp of Mistress Gravity's sweeter fingers to traverse the sky. Can a such thing be? Imagine flying within the confines of eternity's very atmosphere, defying the very convections of what we all know to be true. Instead of down, up, instead of falling and soaring. Can you imagine? Can you see it before you? Could you even dream of the existence of such a flying machine? Tell him you've never heard of such a thing. Tell him you've never heard of such a thing. Ah, but the future is ours to build, my strange-hued and unharmed comrade. What do you think? Does this excite you? Do my ideas rile your buttons? You can't help but notice that he's referred to you as a chum and comrade, but friend hasn't made an appearance yet. Do synonyms count, or is it just like a tick of his speaking style? You look at it as earnest as you can nod vigorously. You are almost positive this is the thing he really wants you to express interest in. Aha! The truth will out. You and I share this furtive passion for the indulgence of the air. A dialogue between a troll, a flying machine, and the stars. But further away from the stars than we might be in a spaceship. I cannot stress enough how different of a thing this is. You can't decide between nodding and shaking your head here, so you furrow your brow and do your best to look thoughtfully, like maybe you are contemplating the difference? This pale demeanor towards you is definitely shading to the more temperate climate zones. However, certain physical needs are starting to assert themselves. You're still pretty banged up from the previous adventures, but right now, the aching of your stomach is screaming for attention. You humbly ask your friend to be if there might be any chance of getting a bite to eat. But of course! Why, if I'd known you had a rumbling of the old digestion bladder, I would have shut my appetite sweet. Time for the good old nosh, a yummaroonie. What ho! Now, how should we attain the victuals? we could venture into the great unknown, which is to say, out of my hive. Or we could stay here, beholden to whatever twists and turns Lady Fate has in store for us in the nutrition's block. What say you, Newtama? God, there's so much of this. I forgot. Shit, I forgot. This man has so many of these. Now I remember. Let's say... go out and look for food. From your budding chum's words, it sounds like for himself isn't sure if there's any food in the house. Best to risk it and go outside to tell him your decision. Chop choice, buckaroo! Foraging is how I while away most of my time after all. There's just one small matter to trouble the old brain power. If we're venturing out to the unknown yonder, we should obtain some chow for my Lucis as well. He'll be a real grumpy Gustav if he goes too long without his nosh. You draw yourself up proudly. It's taken a lot of bizarre run-ins and hiring close shaves, but you know all about Lucises. You inquire about, Gustav, was it? Oh-ho, what a card you are! No, my Lucis. I call him the Canary. He whips out a photo. It shows a smaller version of himself. His horns, nothing but stubs. A far too big pair of aviator goggles slipping off his nose. Standing behind him is a large white fowl. Big, scraggly wings folded back against its body. You want to say an emu? Whatever it is, it's definitely not canary. Its beak touches the top of your pal's head with something that might count as affection. He's not persnickety, so he's not a persnickety star. All kinds of bugs and leaves will tickle his fancy. Shall we away? Shall we greet the horizons that rush forward to meet us with astounding grace? Shall we grace ourselves over to the current of time's great river? Sure, you tell him. You can leave the house. It's getting a lot easier to pay attention to only the words this guy says that actually make sense. Kind of enjoy his way of speaking though. If nothing else, it gives you the feeling that he's really excited about this food quest you're going on together. Your alien pal leads you back down through the pulley system and outside again. The trip is not so easy on your bruised ribs. The thing about walking is, when you walk, your body moves. You've had better times is all you're saying. You indicate as much to your companion. Oh boy, I hear ya. Moving while tattoo turning at surface is the worst kind of hooey. The moment when autonomous flight is invented... The moment when autonomous flight is invented trembles ever close to the present. Can you hear it approach? The wail of distant klaxon? The call to adventure? It beckons us forward through the years as a golden thread stretches ever out to glorious inevitability. That's not what you meant, but his excitement cheers you up a little. Maybe you will feel better in the future when someone invents flight on his planet. Surely, but that time you'll either be further along in a healing or dead. Either way, thinking about that future brings a little rosy glow to your heart. You ask your buddy where you're going next. The world is our beviler, our sea critter. We'll go wherever the wind calls our names. Great. But it's a short-term answer you're acquiring after? There's a specific plant the canary likes to eat. It's got white petals and leaves as red as trolls' most lurid desires. Could you give a holler if your bulbs fall in something of that persuasions? You agree to keep an eye out. You continue to trudging along beside him. Wincing whenever your steps jolt your injuries, maybe a little considerations will distract you. You ask your new friend what got him so interested in flying in the first place. What could it be better? Up there, free of the worldly concerns, the wind in your face and the horizon at your back, seeing the continents spread out below you. Finally, feeling that your personal stake is appropriate for the given circumstances. Chew over this one for a minute or two. It seems like what really makes this guy tick is the travel and adventuring thing. Or maybe that's just what you're getting from his general demeanor, and pretty much everything he's said up until now. You're nervous to bring up anything that might make him dislike you, but in the interest of bonding, you forge ahead. Aren't there, you say, the friendship? Maybe some similarities between flying and space travel? Like maybe being in a spaceship could satisfy some of these urges? What? There may be some superficial similarities to the trick of common troll, but in essence, the blood pusher and the soul of each, as different as the night and day, as a mountain and a ditch, a star and mud puddle. Don't get a fellow wrong, space travel is fine. Well, it's the only way to satisfy our bloodthirsty and nearly immortal overlords, and I look forward to such a time when I can be of service in the eternal millstone guide of intergalactic conquest. But it's missing the punch, the pizzazz, the kaboom, the trunk beast honk of it all. Just as you'd heard, feared, you stepped in it now. You're struggling for a response when out of the corner of your eye, you spot a cluster of white flowers. Relieved, you point them out to your companion, who races over to gather them, but when he holds one up, you can see it. It has a blue leaves on, not red. Your shoulders droop, seem like all you were doing is disappointing your buddy, who has been so nice to you. Or at least that's what you think you've read between the lines of his confusing speaking style. You know, compared to, like, Vicari's pretty chill, not gonna lie, compared to, like, everyone. Well, most of the people, I mean, I think so far, like, the nicest people, we got Hot Cowboy Lady, Friend Group Motherly Figure, and Hot Dog Guy. I mean, he had issues with Hot Dog, and just dealing with, like, the grief of his wiener dog, Lucis. We got the stoner guy. I think those are like pretty much the nicest people we can ever meet. The lawyer, Ardata, Amnesia. Well, you could give or take. They're not the best options as friends. Fear not, my smooth-headed compatriot. These are not Lucis rations we sought, but this plant is people chow. What I mean to say is we can eat it. Since we are people, it's food for people, not food made of people. To be clear. He comes back with a fistful of flowers and hands you one blue leaves. You're not at all sure what the food that's safe for your buddy will be safe for you as well, but at this point you don't have much to lose. Besides, at this way your stomach is growing, it might as well be perfectly seared steak you put in your mouth. Chewing on the leaf, you feel even more affectionate towards this guy than before. We're worried this trip was just turning into an excuse for him to run some kind of household errand, but he really did find you something to eat. You're desperate to find some way to show him that you understand his interests. You want to connect to him on a deep soul level. Anything to get him to look at you with that treasure glow of friendship in his eyes. Whenever he mentions space travel, he talks about how it's something that he has to do. Some kind of necessary obligation. So maybe there's a reason he's fixed on a activity that is kind of similar, but just a little different. Maybe he doesn't want to be the required thing, the space conquest, but he doesn't have it in him to rebel entirely all the way. Maybe the airplane flight or whatever similar thing he is envisioning is a compromise between that he has to do and what he wants to do. A balance, like all must find, in order to live as an individual in society, that shapes one's desire from birth. You cautiously open your mouth, heart pounding. You venture to ask your pal if he maybe would rather not satisfy the demands of the bloodthirsty overlords. If maybe a part of him wants to get into his flying machine and, well, leave for real. He seems taken back. Maybe you should never have said it. What a huge mistake. You probably pushed his friendship out of your reach for good now. Panicking, you point to the side, yelling that you see a big field of white flowers in that direction. Your potential friend leaps to action, seemingly also glad to have given a reason not to answer this question. He races forward in the direction you indicated. In a matter of seconds, there's a yelp and your new acquaintance vanishes. Instantly, you realize your error. You didn't look where you were pointing. While walking and unwittingly came close to the edge of a large cliff, which your companion has now disappeared over. You race to the side, your stomach flooding with fear. This is absolutely the opposite of what you wanted. Look down in horror. Your friend now looks promisingly how you felt when you first crash landed on this dark planet. He's conscious, his face frozen in shock, but the one leg is twisted underneath him in a nasty way. You may not be familiar with his alien anatomy, but you're almost positive what it shouldn't look like that. You call out to him in distress. Sure, he's going to castigate you for your mistake. The strangeness of his language won't make it hurt any less to lose the guy's trust forever. What ho! Kalu Kalay! His voice floats up from the ground below, weak but somewhat jovial. Is it possible he's not angry? Oh, joy is happening! Oh, delight for the body and spirit! Did you see? Did your being absorb what occurred before your very visage? I flew! Soared through the air! Just for a moment, but it happened. In ecstasy, like none other I've ever known. You hesitate? Is it really possible that he could be taking this so well? That when your big fuck up was a step in the right direction after all? It's definitely a little worrying to hear him celebrate a dangerous fall, but none of that matters if you could secure his friendship at last. My strange associate! Come on down here! We will celebrate in the grand fashion this eve. How did you know that a brief sojourn through unfettered air would bring me such joy? You're a fine fellow! A truly superb friend! Your heart lifts with joy. He said it. Of course, you now have to find some way to climb down a cliff with your messed up ribs. Not to mention figuring out how to transfer someone with a broken leg back to the house. You're not really sure if that's possible, or when the adrenaline that's gotten you this far will give out the force you to succumb to your own pain. But with a night full of difficulties ahead of you, you couldn't ask for a better balm than knowing you'll face them hand in hand with your friend. Assuming he didn't hurt his hand as well. No matter, you did it. Victory. Oh god, yeah, that should not have been that way. Okay. He'll be alright. Let's see. Let me try. Tell him you love spaceflight. Well then! We are in total agreement. Two kindred souls traveling hand in hand to a glorious yet inevitable future of conscript service in space. Which is, as I have already made clear, a thing I most definitely and positively desire. So it seems we have nothing more to discuss. Toodaloo. Toodaloo! My dear sir. Oh yeah, we both love space. Anything else? No, not really. Okay, bye. I mean... that ending felt a bit... not too much damaging. It's just like, oh, just chatting with the man. Like, oh, I love spaceflight. Oh, great. Now we have nothing else to talk about. Okay, bye. Okay, let's try... stay in the hive. You tell him any food he has in the house will be fine. Surely staying here will get you fed more quickly. No problem at all, my fine and benevolent fellow. However, I believe two kindred souls such as ourselves have more ways of communicating than mere words alone. I think I'm grasping the meaning behind your request. The signal from your transmitter is pinging my coronal orb's receiver. I can see what you're truly after is food for the soul. Definitely meant food for the body. You look for an opening where you might gently correct your new buddy, but he seems to be working himself up to say a lot more things. The delectable nutrition of what a troll's truest being craves. That it sustains a thought of imagination, of desire. That which nourishes the self of better and finest grub noodles. Art, passion, science. You must have a hankering to see my flying machine design sketches. Despite your troubles, you can't help but think his enthusiasm is kind of sweet. You nod weakly. You make one last attempt to indicate that food might strengthen you to fully appreciate his work. No need to worry. I'm fully confident in the ability to take in my glorious blueprint. You have shown yourself to have quite the sturdy noggin and discerning gander above. I would welcome your input. Warmth blossoms in your stomach. It feels nice to hear him compliment you. You're not sure what you've actually done to earn his praise, but you definitely don't want to ruin this now. Maybe seeing his designs will be fun. Even on an empty stomach, maybe it really will nourish you on a level that will help you forget about the prosaic, earthly nourishment. You thought you wanted to tell him you're in. Not so fast! Not which I'm planning to reveal to you what I keep closest to my torso pillar. It's not that I don't trust you, my loose and horn freak horde, but I think I would like to trust you a little more before vivisecting myself. In displaying my bleeding organs before your penetrating gaze, which is a metaphor for exposing my portfolio. Might I trouble you to participate in a small trust trial? No problem, you tell him. Your bud insists on making yourself comfortable while he gets a few supplies. After a few minutes he returns with a fistful of fabrics in different colors. Here, what's been bouncing around in the old brain box of mine, buddy-o? I'm going to tie this blindfold around your face. Then I'm going to give you some instructions. And you're going to try to locate the case where I keep my treasured sketches. If you can find it, it's gotta mean we trust each other deeply. Like two things working in unison to achieve liftoff. If that's how wings work, I'm still figuring out the principle of the matter. Are you up for it? It's too late to turn back now, and really, you don't want to. It's kind of a relief to have him tell you what you can do to earn his friendship in plain terms. Well, as late as this guy's terms ever get, I think it's mostly to the music. I think the music is helping me get his voice right. It just shows his personality a bit really well. And plus, I love the helmets. Just the helmets, like, I like the spaceman helmet back in the background. Like, I like helmets that like give the shape of like horns or ears. It's always cute. You give him a thumbs up. Now, we're on the trolley. Let's go. He quickly ties the fabric around your face. Time is upon us. Time for an inaugural flight of our dipping bond. Time to nudge our fledgling companionship out of the nest and see what happens. Your new friend starts to direct you around the room. To the left? No. My right. My left. Sorry. Okay, I meant your left. And now onwards to the glorious future that lies before us. You smile weakly, doing your best to follow his instructions. He sounds happy, so you must be getting north somewhere. Almost to the doorway. 3 steps forward if you would be so. Wait! Crash. You stagger backwards from the impact. You hear yourself wheeze and shock as totally knock your lungs out of commission. Your chest jerks in the tiny contractions as you grasp for air. Oh, beans. Ding dang darn it. There's no pain, just an intense pressure focused on the center of your face. Right around where you ran into something face first. You pull it at the blindfold and hear footsteps, which probably means your new friend is rushing over to help. He gets the blindfold untied and his face swims into the vision. He looks utterly gobsmacked. Why, I'll be a Hornsby scrub food. Everything's copacetic. New pal? You put your hand up to your face and touch something wet. Surely enough, but you pull your fingers away. They're covered in blood. Your nose isn't gushing or anything, just sending out a couple of refills to let you know it's having a bad day. It's not so bad. You tell your acquaintance this, but he doesn't look any less horrified. Shivering, distracted on my eye. All this time I've been testing you to see if I could place the tender gift of trust in your scowled little hands. And here you've bestowed upon me the greatest trust of all. Knowledge of your non-standard hematological attributes. And I'm truly honored, flabbergasted, absolutely pushed to the brink of rationality by such a display of faith. Never mind the trust trial, you deserve to see my sketches. Just wait here. Be back to 2 shakes of the baby bush in the corners. You sit down on the floor again, wiping the blood off your face. I'm not going to question the stroke of luck been shown. Why, if you knew bleeding was the key to his affections all along, you could have encouraged some blood from the sites of your multiple injuries. But no matter, you snip the last of the blood back up into your nostrils, tasting metal all the back of your throat. When your almost friend returns, he drops a big stack of papers onto your lap. The page through the designs. The first few are rudimentary, mostly variations on spaceships, with little notes like how to make it not reach escape velocity. Okay, and less jet fuel. Shape could be less aerodynamic. But as you keep going, the designs get pretty interesting. One seems to rely on some big rotating sail to achieve lift. Another shows light frame body attached to 4 joined wings. You briefly wonder what he plans to make the wings out of before you see the notes stating that these are dragon wings. A follow-up scribble state, flappy mechanisms, how to soften a rigor mortis. But hang on, you take a closer look at the machine frame. This guy's sketches pretty detailed. The frame doesn't seem to be made of wood or aluminum as you expected, but smaller individual shapes lashed together with some kind of cord. Maybe it's just a macabre aesthetic, but you think it looks like bones? Look back at the other designs now that you look at it. The sails in this one has a texture that might be leather or similar. The sketches themselves are picked out in a variety of colors, not dissimilar from one of the brand new blood colors you discovered lately. Oh boy, you've been down this creepy alien road before. Using your lightest, most jocular tone, you question the bone shape. You soften your words with a big and not freaked out smile. What's that? Well, I'm not a construction professional, you know. Gotta make use of what's available. Only cold lowbloods and grubs, of course. Not an ounce of intellectual spirit in this fellow over here. Fear not, unhorned one. These wacky uncultural differences you just misunderstood. You take refuge in your old standby of nodding and smiling. It's none of your business what body parts this fellow uses or doesn't use to make his Wright brothers transform into fan works. Friends aren't for judging people's use of corpses as constructive materials anyway. You know, when you crash land on the planet, I have no idea what to think. Vicare, older boy, you've really shut the balls now. That's what I told myself. Telling an alien about your flying dreams, that's ruffled the kitty and doubt about it. But now that we're here, and you're having a looky-loo at my sketches, I'm thinking it might have been right for us to meet all along. Perhaps the work of a capricious Madame Destiny? Surely he's about to say that you are friends. You can almost taste those sweet, friendship-affirming syllables coming from his mouth. You are just seconds away from that coveted F-word. Or are you? Maybe you misconstrued everything. You look back down at the sketches. Bones in this one, bones in that one. He says these plans call for the bones of aliens like him. At least, if you understood him correctly. But they don't really look that different from, well, the bones you're more familiar with. Your own bones. Your bones. Which have already gone through a lot today, maybe seem to be a kind of a harvestable condition. If one was so inclined. You cleared your throat. Haha! You say he's not in the market for these materials right now, is he? Like, right now? The friendly guy doesn't understand your question. You're not going to push it, but you do risk a quick glance at yourself, then back at him, then back at yourself. Now look at him. Now back to me. Now look at your hand. Now back to me. I'm on a horse now. What's in my hands? Pearls. Just to see if he's checking out the stuff, so to speak. When you look back at him, he looks aghast. Oops. Heavens to biscuits! Is that what you think of me? You think I'm the type to start taking people's body parts all higgledy-piggledy? As if there aren't plenty of thoughtlessly discarded ribcages to work with. If that's the type of gent you're looking for in these parts, I'm afraid I'm not the type of aggressively heartthrob you're after. We can't all be the macho, bloodthirsty, romantic hero type, ready to whip out an organ harvesting tools at a moment's notice. I thought we could be friends, but now I see you're looking for something different. My apologies. I think it's best if we go elsewhere. You went to correct the misunderstanding, but you're not fully sure what the misunderstanding is. This guy doesn't seem to be in any mood for friendship right now. You hang your head, looks like this was all just a big waste of time. Misunderstood. The misunderstanding was he thought you were like, oh, okay, yeah, you wanna go find people, or do you want to use my bones right now? Honestly, I like him. He's a pretty chill guy. I like him. He's a little silly man. He's a little silly man with an old-timey voice. Okay. Tell him airplanes against the last one, hopefully. I brought you here to show you my truth, and you treat me to mockery? An airplane? A plane that floats in the air? Flying machines are a serious business. I think you should leave. Game over. We did it! No. After this, I was kind of like in the, on the fence on this guy for a while, but you know what? After giving him that voice and with the music, it made him better. It honestly made me like him a lot more. I like him. I like the silly man. Anyways, that's today's stream. I will see you tomorrow for volume 5 and 6. Until then, I'll see you next time. And remember to follow me for future notifications of when I'm streaming. Because I am very excited. I am very excited to continue HiveSwap Friendsim. Because, well, we have a lot more time tomorrow since I don't have to worry about work. Oh well. Goodbye for now. Ta-ta, ta-ta. Bye.